Howdy banger fans, Blayne Smith welcoming you to another Overkill Quarantine Edition Bangers Weekly Metal Review Show from home. As always, we love you. Thanks for coming out. If you love us, you can head on over to our Patreon page, give us a couple bucks here and there. You can get some cool stuff, merch, or more ethereal rewards, like, hey, the ability to shout out something cool at the start of an episode. You can plug something you're doing, whatever it is. As usual, Best Boy Branches is just shouting out a cool band that he wants you guys to hear. He's shouting out Swedish black metal band Catan. There will be a link below. He's shouting it on behalf of his friend and mine, Chris Futchman, and maybe he'll stop going on about it in my Twitch chat now. Speaking of Twitch, I'm not plugging my Twitch channel this week because as of today, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be attempting to play Settlers of Catan for 24 hours to raise money to fight cancer. I'll be doing it with a couple of pals. We do this every year. This year it has to be digital because of the ongoing pandemic, so we hope you'll come out. It's a new way we're trying it, but there's still plenty of opportunities for you to donate and screw with us as we try and stay awake for 24 hours playing a game. It's Catanathon.ca. I hope you'll come out. It's always a fun time. Plenty of hilarious hijinks happen. And hey, if you're in a different part of the world, good news. You know, there's something in the time zone to accommodate everybody. That's enough housekeeping. That's enough talking about things that aren't metal. Let's get on to the metal with a classic band coming back. Yes, that's right. UK death metalers Benediction are releasing Scriptures. It comes out today, October 16th on Nuclear Blast Records. Let's talk about them. Let's get into it. It's been so long you thought I left you, but Benediction is back, baby. These death metalers out of the UK date all the way back to 1989, and they've been one of the premier acts on the island, really only playing second fiddle to Lord Bolt Thrower themselves. And it was looking like this band was going the way of Bolt Thrower since the last time we had a new album was 2008. But fear not, they are back with a lineup shake-up to go with it. Of course, the core is still the same in our dual guitarers, Peter Rue and Darren Brooks. They've always been here. They're not going anywhere. But this time they're joined by new Slash Old Vocalist. Much is buzzed about it. Dave Ingram is back. You might remember him from such great albums as Transcend the Rubicon by this very band. He is back, so celebrate, fans, and we have a completely new rhythm section. That's cool. That's interesting. I wonder what effect that's going to have. Giovanni Durst is joining on drums. Dan Bate is joining on bass. Can they throw the bolt off the throne of UK death? Or should they have said a couple of benedictions before the release of this album? Let's find out. Weirdly, the thing I'm most excited to talk about is the new members. They kind of feel a bit like the stars of the album. Giovanni Durst clearly is Italian with that first name, but drum-wise, he is UK death to the bone. He's certainly capable of all the speed and power of a death metal drummer, but the thing that really kind of gives it that UK feel is his ability to switch from that to a rocky, crusty, punky kind of vibe, and have you bopping, you know? There's a bop to this album. And when he does play fast, his fills are really creative and varied, and I really like them a lot. And when he really slows down, he's still delivering that power, so you're not losing out on the heaviness. So across the board, I really have absolutely zero complaints about his drumming. If you want to see all of those things at work at one time, in our hands, The Scars is easily my favorite track because he does all of that on one track, and it's great. Another interesting thing about that track is Benediction apparently had no reservations about just handing the front of it over to new bassist and really giving him a spotlight. Dan Bate gets to show off here and on a couple other tracks, and great decision. He fills the role great. That they combine so well to create a backbone that allows the guitars to have fun over top of it, that really just moves every track along at a great pace and keeps you forward, lurched back. Great time, good stuff. You always get bonus points from me when you give a bass player something to do besides what you're doing, but lower. Part of the reason I'm able to pick out those performances so well, though, is I got to talk about the production. Scott Adkins, who's a higher profile producer, most known for Cradle of Filth. So you hear Cradle of Filth producer and you might go, ooh, is this going to be a heavily produced album? I would describe it as heavily produced, but what's interesting here compared to a lot of heavily produced albums is this album shows that heavily and overproduced are not synonyms. They do not mean the same thing. The separation between instruments is great. You can clearly hear everyone. You can pick them out at any point in the track. And while, like I said, I would say there is a produced sound of the instruments and they don't sound 100% natural, they do sound good. So who cares? Okay, so I've got a long time without talking really about Benediction, you know, the two guys that started and have kept this band going for 30 years. That's because I wasn't really surprised by anything they did, because Peter and Darren are very good guitar players who did a very good job playing guitar and assembled a very good crew to make a very good album. That's kind of what they do at this point, so I wasn't really thrown off. The album's maybe a bit more melodic. That's something I could say. It's not Melodeath. Don't worry. If you don't like Melodeath, don't start thinking I'm saying this is a Melodeath album. Nope. There's just maybe a bit more melody. There's also some cool, like, almost atmospheric-y, different guitar tony parts in Embrace the Kill, Neverland, and a bit more throughout that, if anything, I want more of. Give me more of that next time, please. I liked it. It was good. And yes, I would like another helping. Yeah, pretty much. You like Benediction's sound? Well, it's here, and it's probably better than it sounded in like 20 years. If you don't know who Benediction are, basically that kind of trademark UK sound, you know, death metal, slowed and doomed a bit, but not enough to be death doom. Basically a death metal album in the rain, like The Whole Island. That's what you're getting here, and it's good. You should enjoy it. Well, by the glowing kind of positive side, I'm assuming you can guess I don't have a lot negative to say, but I have to say negative things because that's my job. So hey, let's get out our combs and get nitpicking, baby. So first off, I also didn't mention Dave Ingram. Dave Ingram, bang up job throughout, especially Embrace the Kill. Boy, he dictates that whole song, and I can't wait to see him bark that out whenever the hell that'll ever happen again. But he's really great throughout the whole album except one song, Iterations of I. The lyrics and the delivery on it are a little simple. The rhyming structure kind of gives it that thing where you hear the first line and then the second line before he's done, I know where it's going, and it really removes it of punch. It's a thing that drives me crazy, and I probably wouldn't have noticed it, but it's the first track on the album, so I was like, oh no. And then the rest of the album, he's great. But it does kind of throw you for a weird loop when that's the first track. I probably would have maybe put that in the middle, because it's not a bad song. It's just, I don't like that song a bit, but I still like that song. This is hard. I'm telling you, this is hard. Additionally, if I had to complain about one other thing, it would be that it feels a little bit, I said you could just move that song from the front of the album to the middle, because it feels like you do that with any song. That atmospheric part that I mentioned earlier on tracks 9 and 10, I thought that was kind of going to build, and then maybe you were going to kind of get a big atmospheric song to end out the album. That didn't happen. It kind of appears on song 9 and 10, you go, oh, it's building, and then 11 and 12, it's gone again. The modern kind of old school death metal revival has done a really good job of creating packages, a full conceived package, and I kind of would like that here, and it feels like it could have happened here, so, So, to review my complaints, the vocals on one track and the fact that it's not a concept album-y, packagey thing, which is admittedly down to personal preference. But I think every album's better that way. Whatever, man. That's my favorite thing about metal. Get out of here. So let's wrap it up. I'm grasping at straws. I'm gonna start commenting on the color palette on the cover or something. So what can I say? Let's go with this. Well, I don't think they were quite able to transcend the Rubicon. What we do have here is a death metal great coming back and crafting an album that feels genuine and is solid and not some excuse to make a couple of bucks touring the festival circuit by pumping out some garbage. There's songs on here that I will be as excited to hear part of the set list as, you know, the classics. So, things are good. I was like, way to wrap it up, Blayne. Good job. I stopped the camera before giving my skull rating. My skull rating is 4 out of 5 skulls from the skulls from the cover of Subconscious Terror. It's a cool skull. Oh, also, yeah, hey, there's also shoutouts. 2 cool albums. One, hey, since we're, you know, kind of going back, you know, talking about death metal from the 90s, you want a bit of 90s injected in your life. Not a 90s band, but some great 90s feel from Stälker. They're coming out with Black Magic Terror on Napalm, October 30th. I know it's a bit in the future, but great old school looking cover, great speed metal sound. And also, you know, you want more death metal, not enough death metal. Hey, I'll always try and give a shout out to Russia if I can when a Russian band has a band camp. I'm stoked. Wombripper, I can't believe I'm saying that, is releasing Macabre Melodies. It's an independent release. Sweet. That's coming out October 26th. So not enough death metal in your life. That's some great, again, old school flavor. Cool. Sweet. Like, comment, subscribe. Catanathon.ca. Bye-bye.
Black